Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. I am Matt. I am the VP of Growth here at Simplified Solutions, and I am joined today by my good friend and colleague Suraj, who is one of the CTO, who is a CTO and one of the co-founders here at Simplified Solutions. So today is our maiden webinar, so it's a very exciting day for everyone here at Simplified Solutions. And today we're going to be discussing the principles of security by design. So what it is, how it provides more robust security measures, share some examples of real world consequences of not implementing it properly, and hopefully answer any questions that you have throughout. So there is a Q&A button you hopefully see on your left. So if you've got any questions, feel free to type them as we go through the session. And if we get time at the end, I'm sure we'll try and get to some of those as well. So firstly, some introductions. Now, as I said, I'm Matt. I'm the VP of Growth here at Simplified Solutions. I've worked across a number of different emerging tech and MarTech companies, from secure payments through AI, machine learning, media attributions, and data analytics. But enough about me. The real expert on the call today is Suraj. So Suraj, I'll let you introduce yourself to the guys.
Thank you, Matt. Good day, everybody, and thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Suraj Giawali. I'm a CTO and co-founder of Simplified Solutions. Prior to joining Simplified Solutions, I worked for big corporations, including Barclaycard, NCR Corporation, Global Payments, Evo Payments for over 15 years. I led software and solution engineering teams, delivering enterprise-level payment applications in some of the big banks in the world. I have extensive knowledge on secure software development lifecycle, software security, regulatory and compliance, including PCI DSS, PCI SSF, ISO 27001, GDPR, NIST CSF. Lots of abbreviations there. Over to you, Matt.
Okay, thank you, Suraj. So before we dive into anything properly, I'm aware this could be a lot of you guys' first exposure to Simplified Solutions. So I thought I'd give you a very quick introduction on who we are as a business. So at our core, Simplified Solutions, we are an IT strategy and consultancy company based on application security. Now, what we aim to do is help organizations protect their most valuable assets, which is their data, whether it's financial, customer, employee, or transactional. Now, the way that we do this is kind of through a three-layered approach. Now, one of those layers we're going to touch on, spend all of today talking about, which is security by design. But also some of the other layers are offensive and defensive security and regulation and compliance. And, we may even do webinars on those further down the line. But today we're talking about security by design. So without much further ado, let's get into it. So Suraj, tell me and all the good folks, what is security by design in application development? What is it, and what are some of the principles of security by design?
Sure. Security by design is a proactive approach to information security that integrates protective measures into applications from the very beginning of software development, rather than adding them as an afterthought. Instead of treating security requirements as an afterthought, this approach embeds them into system architecture from the start. The concept is straightforward, yet powerful. Application design with security at their core are inherently more resilient and less vulnerable to breaches. The principle behind security by design is that prevention is better than cure. It stresses the importance of making security a central consideration at every stage of system design and implementation. This involves anticipating potential threats and vulnerabilities from the outset and designing systems to withstand the challenges. The aim is not only to prevent breaches, but also to minimize the impact and ensure rapid recovery if they do occur.
So it's kind of like shift left testing then, organizations have to shift left security by following security by design. Now, why is, in your opinion, security by design important to the software development lifecycle?
Yes, Matt. Shifting security left in development lifecycle is critical to deliver secure software. In my experience and my view, there are 6 key benefits of security by design. Starting from proactive defense. Security by design promotes a proactive approach to information security, establishing defenses against potential threats from the start rather than reaching to them after they occur. The next is cost effective. By anticipating and mitigating security threats early in the design process, security by design can save an organization substantial amount of money in potential breach-related cost. Enhanced trust. Systems built with security by design principles are likely to gain greater trust from users and customers as they demonstrate the organization's commitment to protecting their data. Regulatory and compliance. Incorporating security measures from the design phase can simplify the process of meeting regulatory and compliance requirements. I'll elaborate that a bit later. Reduce impact of breaches. Even if the breach occurs, systems built with security by design principles are likely to limit the damage and recover more quickly thanks to built-in safeguards and response mechanism. Last but not the least, continuous improvement. Security by design involves continuous monitoring and testing, which helps to identify and address any new vulnerabilities, thereby continuously enhancing the system's security.
Yeah, I think one of the key ones that you mentioned there, Suraj, is probably the cost effectiveness. Now, I'm sure pretty much everybody on the call is aware of some of the challenges or some of the threats of a breach. Now, some organizations are losing millions due to cyber attacks, and I'm sure we'll talk about some real world examples of that later. But in your opinion, obviously you're vastly experienced, take us through some of the journey of security by design and how organizations can bake it into their development lifecycle.
Right. Yes. Security used to be afterthought for many organizations. I'm sure the participants in this webinar have experience seeing security as an afterthought process. However, that trend is rapidly changing due to financial and reputational damage to the organizations. It is cost effective to build secure applications compared to recovering from an information security or data breach. Based on my experience, I split security by design to build resilience into 2 major categories. One is process, the second one is application control.
Excellent. So it's always about process and controls, isn't it? Like with everything. So take us through the processes then, and let's start with that one.
Right. Okay. So the key processes in security by design are security standards, matrix, and governance. Establishing security standards, matrix, and governance is important in application security. It involves defining and adhering to industry-recognized security standards, setting measurable security matrix, and implementing governance framework to ensure compliance and continuous improvement in security by design practices. Requirements management. In requirements management, security requirements are given careful attention to ensure they are clearly defined, feasible, and aligned with overall security objectives of an organization. This includes identifying and documenting security needs early in the development process and ensuring they are integrated into the project requirement. Lots of tools can be leveraged as well. So, I've extensively used Jira and Jira Align in the past in order to do requirements management. It's a quite helpful tool. The next is impact analysis. Conducting an impact analysis involves understanding the critical assets within the application and the organization's risk appetite. This process helps in assessing the potential impact of security threats on these assets and determining the level of risk the organization is willing to accept. The application controls needs to be built considering the outcome of the impact analysis. Threat modeling is a systematic approach to identifying and evaluating potential security threats. Techniques such as STRIDE, which stands for spoofing, tampering, repudiation, information disclosure, denial of services, elevation of privilege, and evaluating threats like DREAD, which stands for damage, reproducibility, exploitability, affected users, discoverability, are used to analyze threats and prioritize them based on their severity and potential impact. There are other models like the process for attack simulation and threat analysis, in short, PASTA, and Linden, and so on. There are so many different frameworks that can be taken into consideration to do threat modeling. Design review. Conducting design review involves thoroughly examining the application's architecture and design to identify potential security vulnerabilities. This process ensures that security considerations are integrated into the design, that any potential weaknesses are addressed before implementation. Code review. The process can be performed using automated tools that scan for known vulnerabilities and manual reviews by experienced developers who can detect more complex issues and ensure adherence to security best practices. Change management. This involves carefully controlling and documenting changes to the application, ensuring that updates and modifications do not introduce new vulnerabilities or compromise existing security measures. Training. As we know, humans are at the center when there are cybersecurity breaches. We are responsible for 95% of those impact. Providing ongoing security training for developers and other stakeholders is important for maintaining a high level of application security. Training programs should cover the latest security threats, best practices, and secure coding technique to ensure that everyone involved is equipped with the knowledge needed to develop and maintain secure application.
Excellent. So yeah, it's always about processes and standards that every organization needs to have. I probably think the most important thing here is that whatever process that you put in place, it needs to be fully supported and backed up by senior stakeholders and a leadership team. So, moving on to the next part then, we've talked about processes. Now, what about application controls? So what kind of, in your opinion, Suraj, what kind of application controls are essential in order to fully embrace security by design?
Right. As you mentioned, getting leadership team on board is probably the most critical aspect to make this security by design initiative successful. That can be done by awareness, education, and training. Implementing processes and application control requires investment. That's why we need to get leadership team on board. Yeah, let's talk about the essential application control to embrace security by design. Auditing and accountability. In secure application development, auditing and accountability mechanism track and log changes in the system, especially concerning security relevant events. By recording timestamp logs of actions such as data access, configuration changes, and user activities, organization can establish a detailed audit trail. This helps in identifying who made changes and when, facilitating detection and investigation of unauthorized activities or security incidents. Zero Trust architecture, which incorporates access control, list privilege, data segmentation, continuous monitoring, strong authentication. Zero Trust architecture is a security framework that operates on the principle of never trust, always verify. It involves strict access control, ensuring users have the minimum level of access necessary to perform their functions, which is list privilege. The data is segmented to limit the movement of malicious actors, and continuous monitoring to ensure real-time detection of suspicious activities. Strong authentication mechanism, including MFA, are enforced to verify the identity of users and devices all the time. Let's slightly look closer to MFA, multi-factor authentication. MFA enhances security by requiring users to provide multiple forms of verification, like accessing an application. This typically involves something the user knows, i.e. like a password, something the user has, such as mobile device or security token, and something the user is, i.e. biometric verification. MFA significantly reduce the risk of unauthorized access, even one factor like a password is compromised. The next control is secure defaults. Implementing secure defaults means that the application is configured with the most secure settings as the default option. This practice reduces the likelihood of vulnerabilities caused by misconfiguration and ensures that users are operating in a secure environment without requiring additional setup or adjustment. As part of secure default, the system must facilitate changing default credentials after the application is installed or subscribed. Uses of cryptography, my favorite subject. The use of cryptography is in secure application development involves employing strong algorithms and secure random number generation. Random number generation is vital for generating cryptographic keys, initialization vectors, and other elements that requires randomness in symmetric cryptography. In symmetric cryptography, having a key length of 2048 bit is recommended if you're using RSA algorithm. Uses of 3DES, TLS RSA with RC4, SHA-128. SHA-128 MD5 hashing algorithms are no longer deemed to be secure. Now, we'll have to closely monitor the development of quantum computing and quantum cryptography space. Threat actors are harvesting data now to decrypt in future. Another important application control is third-party libraries vulnerability assessment. Using third-party library vulnerability assessment can introduce vulnerabilities in these libraries that are outdated or contain security flaws. It is critical to conduct regular vulnerability assessments of all third-party components used in the application before the releases as well as the releases in production. This involves checking for known vulnerabilities, applying patches or updates, and ensuring that the libraries conform the latest security standards. Bills of material, which is quite popular recently, is a central resource to manage third-party libraries diligently. Key management is critical for protecting cryptographic keys, which are essential for securing data. Keys should be stored securely in key vaults or hardware security modules, which are tamper-resistant devices designed to manage and protect cryptographic keys. Not necessarily our organization have to use HSMs, depending on the size of organization, which could be quite expensive as well. Both asymmetric private key pairs and symmetric single key cryptographic methods should be used appropriately with strong algorithms and key length to safeguard data integrity and confidentiality. Provision for more than one key custodian, regular key changes, crypto period monitoring must be enforced. Security testing. Security testing is a critical component in secure application development. It includes various testing methodologies such as penetration testing, vulnerability scanning, static and dynamic code analysis, fuzz testing, etc. These tests aim to identify and address security weaknesses in the application before deployment. Regular security testing helps ensure that the application is resilient against attack and complies with security requirements. Code signing, which is really emerging in the last few years. Code signing involves digitally signing application code with a cryptographic signature. This process ensures the integrity and authenticity of the code, allowing users and systems to verify that the code has not been tampered with and that it originates from a trusted source. Code signing helps prevent the distribution of malicious or altered code. There are many other application controls depending upon the organizations, applications. I believe the ones I described are the most important and common ones in security by design.
Wow, excellent. Thanks so much. Obviously, huge amount of information there, but it's quite clear that there are quite a number of processes now and application controls that organizations have to put into place in order for security by design to be successful. Now, one of the things that a lot of people on the call will probably resonate with is regulation and compliance, right? These are best practices and codes that everyone has to deal with, certainly in the IT space. So how does security by design help meet some of these regulation standards and compliance requirements that we're all faced with?
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a very area to dive into. Number of compliance requirements requires to have security by design in place to be certified, to be audited, and get the stamp. I'll give you a couple of examples. ISO 27001. Among 14 development controls for development and coding practices is one of the controls that the organization needs to adhere to in ISO 27001. And security by design has impact to all of those 14 controls that talks about secure application development. PCI DSS requirement 6, develop and maintain secure system and software. So this is all about security by design. Security by design also directly impacts to meet requirements 5, which is about protect all system and network from malicious software. Requirement 7, which is about restricting access to system components and cardholder data by business need to know. Requirements number 10, log and monitor all access to system components. It's sort of like directly corresponding to auditing mechanism that we talked about in application control. NIS2, which is getting enforced by EU in January next year onwards. It has got requirements of developing application and have robust supply chain software security, use of appropriate cryptography and encryption, use of multi-factor authentication. That actually a outcome of security by design. GDPR controls like auditing, change management, securing personally identifiable information is a must-have requirements as part of GDPR. Whether it's EU GDPR, UK GDPR, or Data Protection Act here in UK, they can actually observe into security by design. So it directly contributes to get GDPR compliant. There are many other standards out there which directly have a positive impact in meeting those compliance. One of the areas is another SOC 2, so it requires to have secure application development as well. So there are plenty of other standards where security by design directly contributes.
Excellent. So it seems quite clear to me, and obviously security by design is obviously an essential tool now to help meet those various compliancy standards. But I'm sure there are organizations in the past who maybe wished that they had security by design principles in place that could have prevented some of their big attacks that they've suffered in the past. So do you have any real world examples of organizations who could have used security by design to help prevent some of the attacks that they had, and then what some of the consequences have been for them not applying those principles?
Of course, I would love to give some real world scenarios. I picked up two very popular example. Of course, not CrowdStrike one. That is not security attack, what they say, but failure of software engineering practices. I'm sure participants in the call may have heard about these attacks in the past. So I'll pick up SolarWinds first. SolarWinds, if you don't know about SolarWinds, they are a SaaS software service provider headquartered in Austin, Texas, and is a developer of Orion, software designed to manage and monitor business infrastructure. In 2020, threat actor buried a backdoor within a plugin distributed as an Orion update. Approximately 18,000 customers, including technology firms and government agencies, had their security compromised by malicious update. The financial loss is estimated to be over 19 million USD, beside reputation damage. And with this case, it was in the history that first time U.S. jurisdiction legally take action to organization CISO. What happened was, in this example, bad actor, they managed to get their CI build server compromised to inject the malicious code. And, it could have been prevented, something like doing code signing, right? When the signature get compared, it could have been detected. So partly following security by design principle would have helped to protect this particular breach. The next one is exit utils. This is the backdoor, which is an open source set for data compression tools widely used across Linux and Unix operating systems. And we all know how many Unix and Linux operating systems are used in the world as a server. So one of the security researchers from Microsoft stumbled that exit utils in a Linux platform triggered high CPU consumption with SSH process, which is to do with logging into a remote server. Security researcher curiosity and investigation led to a component of unauthorized code in Linux installation to spy on user computers and execute additional malicious code. And interestingly, the malicious code was injected by a reputed open source platform contributor who actually persisted to build the reputation for over 3 years before introducing this malicious code. So if there was a practice of doing code review, peer-to-peer code review, or any other type of automated review, this could have been prevented. Other common examples, right? Cross-site scripting, SQL injections, we really commonly see all around the website, all around the platform. Most of the issues that we find in our in the projects that we do at Simplified Solutions, we see these issues quite commonly, but they can really lead to bigger breaches further down the line.
No, absolutely. I bet they can. And that $19 million hit for SolarWinds, it really sort of goes back to what we said at the beginning of the webinar, talking about that, putting in security by design can be a cost-effective way of doing it, because again, they would have saved themselves millions of dollars in initial, obviously, fees, and then obviously reputational damage. Sometimes you just can't put a cost on that. So in your opinion then, Suraj, obviously, as we sort of draw to get closer to closing off this webinar, what are some of the best practices and standards that you would advise and we would advise Simplified Solutions for organizations to follow in order to put in the security by design principles?
Right. Following on to that, I would say many damages may have been prevented by security by design, but not all. There is no silver bullet in security, cybersecurity and information security data privacy world. Many aspects of technology need to work together cohesively to minimize risk. The process and the application are the best practices based on my industry experience of over 15 years. And the practices actually differs from organization to organization based on the safety and criticality of the product, skill sets of the team, strategy, and most importantly, the investment in development. I suggest few standards that I found very useful, and I've actually used some of these extensively in the past as well. Starting from Secure Software Development Framework, SSDF version 1.1. This is from NIST, and the module is SP800-218. So they have actually structured the standard in a quite nice way. Prepare the organization, protect the software, protect well-secured software, respond to vulnerabilities. And also they have broken it down into 2, 3, 4 different areas. And the beauty of this particular specification is they have brought the corresponding link between this standard with other standards in the industry. So if they've got requirements X, then how that's related to ISO 27001, PCI, for example, which is very, very useful, especially for the people who actually works in governance audit areas. Practice, task, notional implementations, examples, reference are some of the areas SSTF dealt into. The next one is Microsoft Security Development Lifecycle. And I have to say, majority of the big corporates I've worked for, we have used this as a baseline framework to build our own secure software development lifecycle practices. So Microsoft STL would break down security by design requirements into 10 different categories, starting from establishing security standard, matrix, and governance, requiring use of proven security features, languages, and frameworks, performing security design review and threat modeling, defining and using cryptography standards, secure and software supply chain, securing the engineering environment, performing security testing, ensuring operational platform security, implement security monitoring and response, provide security training. The next framework, which is PCI Secure Software Framework. The PCI Software Security Framework is a collection of security standards and associated validation for promoting software security in payments industry. The SSF comprises of Secure Software Standard and Secure Software Lifecycle. The Secure Software Standard defines the security features and attributes that payment software must possess, and Secure Software Lifecycle Standard defines the security processes and capability that a software vendor must have be applied across multiple different industries. And the beauty of this standard is they have actually defined how we can meet those controls with examples, with the KPIs of each objectives, especially in the organization, which have a requirements. For example, they need to meet cryptographic standard, but they really don't know where to start. You can actually go to these standard and see their recommendation. They will reference to multiple different standards outside in the industry as well. So it's a really good source to use, and this is available for free to everyone to access. Yeah, moving on to slightly cloud related framework, which is AWS well-architected framework. While the AWS Security by Design framework is focused on AWS workload, its principle can be applied to any cloud or non-cloud workload, regardless of the platform. The framework includes four main steps: understanding the requirements of the organization, outlining its policies, and mapping them into the controls available in the environment. Building a secure environment that fits the organization requirements, implementing the environment using available and new capabilities. Enforcing the use of templates, files that declare security rules and resources used, ensuring security is adhered to all across environments. Performing periodic validation to ensure adherence to security rules and prepare for audit activities.
I mean, wow, I mean, there's lots of really good resources there. So thank you for sharing those with us, Suraj. Now, For everyone on the call, you can see we've got links to all of those. If you're interested in us sending you those links at the end of the call, just let us know and we can share those with you. So Suraj, now we're on the home straight now of this webinar. So could you take us through some sort of closing remarks on, again, just to reiterate everything we've talked about, why we think security design is important, and then so just take it away with your sort of closing remarks for today.
Absolutely. All the frameworks I've just gone through, they are the starting point. Organization must pick and choose what suits the best to meet their security objective. So you basically create your baseline framework for the security by design and add the components based on your organization needs, budgets, skill sets, capabilities, products, criticality, so on and so forth. As threat landscape is increasing due to technology evolving, including the capability of AI, the threat actors are leveraging these sophisticated techniques. In that context, I would like to emphasize on two important points. Embedding security by design principles is critical to reduce the security risk, financial loss, and reputational damage in a longer term. I urge you to start building in security, not bolting in security in your product. The next important point is always remember application security is an ongoing process, not a one-time activities. Organization must have continuous attention to security by design and continuously monitor security controls within their application to keep it secure.
Excellent. Well, I think then that's it from us today. So just thought I'd end this session by saying massive thank you to you, Suraj, for giving up your time to educate today, and a massive thank you for everybody for joining us. As you can see on the screen, got our contact details there. Suraj and I are always open for discussion, and if you want to email us any questions, that'll be fantastic. You can easily find us on LinkedIn, both personally and Simplified Solutions as well. So, that's it from us. Thank you for everyone for joining today. It's been fantastic to share this first webinar with you today. And look forward to more content coming out from Simplified Solutions in the future. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Bye-bye.